So today we are beginning Mishnah 8, and this Mishnah comes to us from Rabbi Elazar Ish Bar Tusa. Let me just find it on the sharing. Here we go. Okay. So Rabbi Elazar Ish Bar Tosa, Rabbi Elazar from Bartosa, he says, Ten lo mishalo, give to him from his. Sha'ata v'shelcha shalo, because you and him, or you, rather you and what belongs to you and what belongs to you is his. And we quote a verse, V'chein b'David, we find from King David, who Omer, he said, Ki mimecha hakol, because all is from you, umiyadcha nasanu loch, I'm giving to you from your own hand. So if we're giving back to Hashem, it really belongs to Hashem in the first place. So the author here, Rabbi Elazar, was well known for his charity. That he'd give away literally the shirt off his back. There's a famous story that's brought down in the Gemara in Tainus of that he was the type of person who gave away everything. That the people who used to, they used to have official tzedakah collectors, and when they would see him coming, they would run away because they knew that he would give them all his money, and they didn't want him to not have any money. So they would try to hide from him. So one day he's walking in the market, and um, they see him, so they try to hide, and they didn't do such a good job. He caught sight of them. So he goes over to them and he says, "What are you? So okay, what are you collecting for today?" And they try to, yeah, but he insists, "What are you collecting for today?" And they say they're collecting for a girl who's getting married and doesn't have anything. His daughter was getting married, and he had gone to the market to buy stuff for his daughter's wedding. He takes everything and he gives it to them, all his money except for one coin that he keeps in his pocket, and then. So he's given away everything from his that he was going to use for the wedding. When he comes home, he puts he buys he buys some wheat, and he comes home and he puts it in the storeroom and closes the door. And then he's asked later, his wife and his daughter were there and said, what did your father, the wife says to the daughter, "What did your father bring you?" And she said, "I don't know, but it's in the storeroom." And they went to the storeroom and he couldn't open it, and he couldn't open the door. And it turned out that she was able to find out that the storeroom was full of wheat. A miracle had happened, and the whole thing just exploded with wheat. So they ran to the study hall to tell him, "Look what happened. Hashem, your friend, your friend Hashem took care of you. He made this miracle, and all this wheat is there." And he said, "Oh, we can't use that. That's miracle wheat. We can't use stuff from miracles. Just take whatever you would have taken as you would have received, let's say, as tzedakah, and that's it. The rest we're not using." And this is he was such an integrated person that he literally gave off the shirt off his back. And so he's the one in the Mishnah who says, give whatever you're giving, you should recognize it's not yours. It's coming from Hashem. You're just giving a section from what he gave you. And Rabbeinu Yonah actually points out it's not even only talking about money. It's talking about yourself. Our bodies belong to God. And therefore, we should use both our bodies and our money for God's uses and not hold back and just use it for ourselves. They both belong to Hashem. The money, how do we view money? We view money as what we call a pikadon. It's like Hashem is giving it to us to hold on to. It doesn't belong to you, but you get to hold on to it. And then but the thing is, even though normally when I give you something to hold for me, mine, you're not supposed to use it. You're just holding it for me. Hashem lets you use it. So he gave you the money. He lets you use it, but only for what you need. If you don't need it, so then give it used to be used for Hashem's needs, which is the poor people. The poor people is or tzedakah, other important causes. You're using it for Hashem's needs. You use what is for you. That's all you need. This is Rabbeinu Yonah. He brings a parable of a king who he had a servant, and he says to him, "Look, here's $1,000. You can keep $100 and give out $900 to everybody else." The guy would be very happy. He didn't have anything. He wasn't expecting anything, and he gives him 100 and says, "Give out 900." He's happy. We're the opposite. Hashem says, "Here's $1,000. you keep 900. You only have to give out 100, right? We only have to give out 10% as a minimum. So we should certainly be appreciative that whatever we have was a gift, and we only have to give away a small amount. So look how much we get to keep. And the proof verse, or this support verse, was from King David, who, when he was talking about building the Beis Hamikdash, he didn't build it himself, but he was doing sort of laying the groundwork, so to speak. He says, "Everything came from you, Hashem. We're building a house for you, Hashem, but it's all yours." Um, the Another idea that's brought down is, um, whether it's, again, physical or financial. The idea is, it's not you, therefore you shouldn't be refusing to engage in godly pursuits. If you have that opportunity, then do so, because it's, after all, it's God's money, it's God's body. The Pharisee Yisrael takes it another step. He says, we're not only talking about money, we're not only talking about your physical self, talents, right? If you're blessed with talent, you're blessed with strength, whatever you're blessed with, all of these things. It could be, if you're blessed with a great memory, a nice voice, right? Many people have all kinds of special talents. Those are God-given gifts. You make sure that you use them for the right purposes. And if we have that attitude, then we're going to contribute from our talents as well, right? Whether it be our brains or our physical talents or our emotional talents, whatever it might be, we are giving back from all of those. Sfas Emes points out an interesting idea, that we see that there is a law, that there's actually a few laws about giving to the poor with regarding to if you owned a field in Israel. So they're called leket, shikha, and peyo, which each one, when you leave a corner of the field, or you left if you dropped something, you have to leave it for the poor. Various laws about leaving for the poor. In each of these cases, what happens if there's a difference of opinion between you and the poor person as to whether or not this stalk, whatever, this grain, belongs to you? And so the law is that the owner of the field has the obligation to prove that it belongs to him. In other words, the upper hand goes to the poor person. So normally the way it works is, right, proof is upon the person who's making the claim, and the person who has it, you're trying to take it from me, you've got to prove it. But if the poor people are the ones who don't have to prove, and the owner is the one who has to prove, so that shows that it really belongs to the poor. In other words, whatever we have doesn't belong to us. It really belongs to who Hashem wants to give it to. We've been entrusted with the ability to have it, that we can decide who to give it to. And therefore, that's, again, the mentality we should be having, is that we have merely been entrusted with our wealth and our talents, etc. And everything that we do and use should be for that purpose. And just one little trick, we talked about this on other occasions, I think, also about, if when you earn money, you take out a percentage and you put it aside early on, then it's a lot easier to give it to tzedakah, because you don't have that feeling you're taking it out of your pocket. So you're making it very clear that this money belongs to Hashem. And it's just besides a good thing to do, it's also helpful in making it easier for you to be able to give. And we'll hold it there.